Over to you, Ashish, and good to have you.
Thanks. Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister, and good afternoon and good morning to the panelists out there. I think a lot has been talked about. I don't have a presentation out here. I just have few words which I have learned and few thoughts for each one of you and the other audience. A lot has been talked about the technology, what has been achieved, but I think I will just touch upon one point which is related to the session topic on how can we reimagine the synergies in this sustainable resources. I think important factor here is, let's first accept the fact that this 2050, if we are not able to achieve that increase of temperature by 1.5 degree, we are looking for a lot of catastrophic events in oceanic region for sure. So it is for us to look at whether we would be able to sustain or can circumvent this 0.5 meter of sea rise, which can wipe out a lot of areas in this oceanic region. I think so. We have a task on our own hand. We also have a task which we feel, which I personally feel, is can be just a renewable energy as a clean source, should be taken it as just a renewable energy, or there are more which can be done. If you look at it, I somehow feel that we all are looking at an elephant which is in the room, but with our blindfolded eyes and looking at that body part of that elephant and trying to create a big image out of it and trying to then depict a picture which we feel or which we view as what it is. So we have an elephant in the room as well as the climate is concerned. We have a destruction which can happen if we keep on working in the level where it is. I like my fellow panelists talking about that there is the carbon emission and there are other factors which are affecting it, and renewable has now come as a source of energy. But is only the source of energy going to help us? Let's look at, Marcello also mentioned about how the world is changing with the EV coming. If you look at on the energy sector itself, when I map it across, there are studies that in another 3 decades, which is not that far off, by 2050, compared to where we are today, we will be having 49% or 50% of the total energy will be served by electricity. Now that's a big number. If you look at that, if 50% is only electricity of the total energy which the world needs. And out of that, the projections are that 86% will come through renewables. Now, what does it mean? One is that renewable playing an important role. Another is that most of us and many of us are sitting on that fossil fuel, which is today our business, and that will not remain our business forever. And then we will only have technology which will be ruling the world. Mudit has been talking about and has shared about how technology is lowering the prices. But where we are today, with a 19% of the electricity as a total energy contributor, and only a quarter of that coming from renewable, we are looking for leapfrogging this particular energy source for the betterment of this humankind. Let's put it across. But we still have business. We all are business and we have government with us today. At the end of the day, we are working for a society, for the community and for our people. And that is the paramount factor. I was looking at the oceanic countries, when we are doing this business, and that is where my example about elephant was coming into picture. We have been so focused about what we have to do. India has leapfrogged on this renewable energy from hardly 4 to 5 gigawatt in total terms by 2014. We have now achieved more than 30 gigawatts. We are virtually reaching to 37 gigawatt in solar. Coupled with the wind energy, we are virtually around 81 gigawatt of renewable energy, which has come in less than a decade in this country, which is actually leapfrogging. But are we doing it in the right manner? When I look at Australia, let's look at it. We have taken a target in this country to develop 40 gigawatt of rooftop solar by 2022. We are nowhere close to it. That's only numbers. But when I look at what Australia has achieved, we have 12 gigawatts of rooftops in Australia. They have expertise out there which is available to us too. It's only if we can synergize those solutions. If we have not done well, then there is a reason. If they have done well, then there are learnings for us. I think we are missing that part of synergizing what the learnings can come to us. What is it which they are doing so well, which we are missing? And that may be one of the reasons which we are not looking at. Again, I'm coming back to my question and my example of an elephant. Are we looking the elephant in a way that why is it working so well somewhere, and what are we looking at only in our myopic way? Today when we look at it, there was an example in Indonesia which has come across with respect to geothermal. New Zealand has 20% of their installed capacity coming from geothermal. Amazing source of energy, amazing expertise. I know India cannot source it to that extent. We may not have that geographies. India has been blessed with solar. We have 700 gigawatt of potential in this country on solar. We have 300 gigawatt of wind capacities or a potential in this country. If I just combine these two, and I am not taking in the hydro part of it, if I just combine these two, then I have 3 to 4 times of the total requirement of this country, which can be met with the potential which we have. The point is, if we have to travel that path, the way we have traveled in the last 5 years or 6 years, with all the government initiatives, which have actually pushed us, each one of us, towards achieving where we have achieved today, are we doing it in the right manner? That's my question. I think there are learnings, there are synergies which are possible. Look at the way the Australia infrastructure industry has worked. Look at the storage solutions. Now today, I am looking for storage again. We have major storage initiative coming up, but we have been viewed very favorably on what is the lithium ion is doing. It's a very exotic way of generating energy. It is also reducing a lot. But does India need lithium ion only? Or a country like India can learn from a storage solutions in Australia? Honorable Minister, UP has a lot of potential across on a small storage, which can be just utilized for renewables. I am talking about today solar has a PLF or a plant load factor, or you can call it, in our world, we call it capacity utilization factor of less than 30%. I have wind solution where it is slightly more than 30% as my capacity utilization factor. Can I have a pump storage coming to me, which can make it a round the clock power, which is completely renewable, and I can, generate it within the state itself for its utility? I think the solutions are available. I think the lessons are there from those who have much advanced, I would say, installations and operations than us. The point here is that I think somewhere or the else, and I commend FICCI initiative on this matter, we are missing this. What has happened in Indonesia today, or is happening on the geothermal, has taken place in New Zealand, and New Zealand is helping them there. The small geothermal which we have potential in this country, we can take lessons from them and take it forward out there. All of this is not going to bring more fossil fuel. It is as green as possible. I think somewhere or the else we are fixated in our solutions towards the cookie cutters and overtly focused towards the module and its acceptability. I will take one more example for the time being. Mudit also mentioned about the agriculture. We are an agriculture-based country. We have agriculture completely based states. Now I have agriculture solar pumps as a solution. These are small pumps on which it can be utilized. A lot of countries have been gained from it. I can see its potential in Indonesia. I know Australia has done a decent amount of work on a distributed generation. I think there is India also, which has done lakhs and lakhs of now solarized pumps are being coming, and we can help some other countries too in the process. All I was looking forward is that once we have such a potential with us, we are not taking care of how can we synergize in this process. There's a great business opportunities. Somehow we have been only fixed on the utility scale projects and the tariffs which are coming from it. We are missing the part that when we will have the higher PLF or CUF, we will utilize our network well. We have the potential of a distributed generation, which will be a great boom for Indonesia. which has been established very well in Australia. New Zealand has done a lot of work on it. India is looking forward to it, and we don't need the grid at our 400 kV or 200 kV level. We prosumers for the world, which my friend Marcello has commended on it. We can have the farmers who can be prosumers here in this country, which requires that. We don't need only the metro prosumers as what we need. And I think there are solutions which are available today also on the technology part, which we are not taking a complete advantage. Floating solar was another example which was cited out there. I think India has a huge potential, not only in UP, since the Honorable Minister is present out there, I am citing that example, but even in other places too. Floating solar can do wonderful for this country. We can leapfrog on that technology. We are generally looking for Europe. They don't have these solutions of floating solar as we have. We don't need offshore wind power to the extent it is possible in Europe. All I'm trying to say out here is that let's look at where are we best placed. Today, some of us, including Indonesia out here, if I can take that example, in this oceanic region, are sitting at 1/4 or 1/5 of a per capita consumption as well as the power is concerned. Coupled to that, if I take this factor of 3x increase or 4x increase in the renewable power in the total energy game and energy contribution in a total energy requirements, we are looking for multi-fold expansion and the potential which is possible. I think what we need to do is to judiciously work with each other. Australia has done a wonderful job in their infrastructure. I personally know that world over, and so is in Italy too. Their contractors are known for that work. You have done a wonderful job on hydros. When we talk of Enel, they have experience of not only in Europe, but they have experience of Africa too. There are regions which are very similar to this country. And I think each of this can bring a lot of learnings which can help a country like India, and India can also contribute outside on the same manner. I think we are missing this part. I was very pleased when Marcello talked about the women empowerment. I think we also have a potential out here and an opportunity out here when we are looking for a microgrids in this country, which can bring the entrepreneurs at the village level. We have seen how this pandemic has affected us, where a huge amount of migration has actually affected the whole economy in this country. We can stop that by generating our own entrepreneurs at the village level. And microgrid solutions, which Enel propagates, is possible in many other countries, is something which I think we should take it forward. There are best practice on rural electrification. There are best practice on large infrastructure. There are best practices on rooftops. There are such a great opportunity for each one of us to come together and then look for those synergies where each one of us can be helped. If there are not many opportunities within Australia, then there are opportunities in India. If there are not many opportunities in Europe, then there are opportunities in India. And if India can also export with their manpower. Look at it that the IT sector in this country has evolved so much because we have a major strength on services. You can't beat us out there. I am looking forward that this particular renewable industry will be the next IT for this country. There's so much services. When we look at, it's not only installing a project. When Marcello was talking about such a great IT, there is a lot of digitization and IT infrastructure which is going to come along with it, which is very critical. And then there are pockets and there are strengths within this country which can work and utilize that for world over. It will reduce the cost of services, the cost of operations, the cost of maintenance, all across. And in this digitization, you don't need to be present there all the time. You can work from offsites. You can work very well on offsites. So I, once again, would like to compliment FICCI for taking this initiative. I would also like to make it an appeal and a request for all of us, including us, as a group. We have our manufacturing, we have been doing rooftop, we have been all the business. And that's where I realized that there is so much which we can do together with each other, making it completely renewable, taking into consideration the climate needs, and the business needs and the economies of all the countries in this oceanic region. Once again, Devin, thanks a lot for the opportunity, and to FICCI.